Morning Dish.
He's the hardest working man in show business. His band's music takes you into the midnight hours. And when you wake up, his voice is back on your radio alarm clock. How on earth did this happen?
Well, Jeff saw me taking out the trash at the radio station, and I won an award.
It's the Morning Dish with the 2017 Radio Personality of the Year award winner, Stephen Phillips.
Well, my daddy told me one day I'd amount to something.
And Murphy's own Sherry Raines.
Stephen, be ready, because I can dish it out.
Well, my problem is I can't take it.
And Packy Smith is a winner, too.
Are we all aware that 2017 was a few years ago?
Well, all right.
He's not in radio for the money, just the glory.
You have got to get Stephen Phillips off the radio. He has lost it.
Here's Stephen Phillips.
How about now? Is that better? Hello? Oh, you got me now?
I can hear you.
Okay, there we go. Now we got you. Everybody, the guy that runs the board actually had to have a funeral today, so he left me in control of this thing, and that's not good to turn me loose.
See if you can turn yourself up a little bit.
Okay, how about now?
Find that volume knob.
Okay, how about now?
A little better.
Is that better now?
Yeah.
There you
I don't
go.
want to keep asking you to repeat yourself, that's all.
There you go. Can you hear me now? I got it.
Yeah.
All right, good deal. Let's jump into this thing if you don't care. I know you're busy.
I'm ready for you.
All right, folks, this is Steve Phillips, and we have got Don Mclean, and I am tickled to death to have him on the radio. Good morning, sunshine.
Well, how are you doing?
So far, so good. This is a big year for you, 50th anniversary of your song.
Yes, it's the 50 years of me being in the big league and of the American Pie album, so we're going to make a big deal out of that. And we've got a fellow who is going to do a documentary movie, a children's book, and a Broadway show.
Wow.
And he is a man named Spencer Proffer,
Right.
who has done all these things. He's just done a big documentary on John Coltrane. They did a children's book on Graham Nash. His book is about our house. And he is affiliated with the people who've done the beautiful Broadway show for Carole King and her music. So these are not, they're big leaguers, and we're working on this stuff right now. I mean, I'm taking a lot of phone calls about things concerning these projects,
Right.
as well as the fact that there's this YouTube channel up now
Oh, yeah.
called Don Mclean YouTube channel. And there we uploaded 11 albums and 173 tracks, and so much other stuff.
Well, you've had
TV
a lot.
specials that I own, and all kinds of stuff.
You've had a lot going on. Let me ask you something. I guess you probably heard this before. When you wrote this song, did you think it would make this big of an impact on the? Actually, on the world? It's played all over the place.
Well, I didn't expect to be around a year later. To tell you the truth, I was preparing for that. I was happy doing what I was doing.
Right.
I didn't need to be a superstar.
Well, it pays well.
So I was pretty happy, and they paid me a lot of money, and I bought a house, and
Right.
I could afford that, and I lived well below my means, so I didn't really need success. I just was very thankful for what had happened and figured it would be over, but they kept buying my albums, and they kept booking me, so here I am.
And still being booked. You're still playing today.
Yes, I am.
Yeah, that's amazing. Like I said, this the song is actually about the plane crash back in, I guess, what was it, in '59? I guess it was, with Buddy Holly and all them. And I just wonder. I've asked people today. Buddy Holly to me was above his time. I thought he was so much ahead of music in the time. What do you think would have happened if Buddy Holly hadn't have got killed? Do you think the music would be where it's at today, or do you think it'd be in a different genre?
Well, if Buddy Holly hadn't gotten killed, he would have just gotten old. He was 22 years old when he died, and he created a group that was the template
Right.
for all the rock and roll bands, especially the Rolling Stones.
Mm-hmm.
Double guitars, bass, drums. And that was the Stones. And nobody else was doing that, if you think about it.
Right.
Elvis was singing with the Jordanaires, and so Elvis was always gospel-oriented. He had the gospel group, the big vocal sound.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what his music was. And, you listen to Don't Be Cruel. There's no drums on that song.
Right.
It's just him beating the back of his guitar. So it was all about Elvis Presley and his astounding voice and amazing ability to transmit his charisma through that voice into these recordings was totally different than Buddy Holly, who wrote all his songs, who basically had a geeky look with his glasses and all, and but ended up influencing everybody that came afterwards in a much more profound way than Elvis did. Elvis has influenced a whole lot of impersonators, and I know some people like Shakin' Stevens maybe, but not like Buddy did, because all the groups that came after had to have two guitars, bass, and drums.
Right.
So, there was that. And then there's the other thing, which is the fact that we overlook Ritchie Valens.
Yes.
Ritchie Valens is now a very important character, I think, in history of music, because of the fact that we now have a much larger Latin audience in our country, Latin population, both from South America and from Mexico. And he was the first real, Latin American rock and roll star.
He was big.
He made some really good records. And again, used that guitar. It was a real great guitar sound he has on those records. You listen to, Come On Everybody or La Bamba. Man, that is a real good sound. I think that's a Telecaster sound. I'm not sure. But
there you go. The Telecaster Cowboy, I guess they call it, that sound. That's followed.
Well, he was the first one, you know.
So, but now this, I know that you've actually read, what was it, 2015 or something? You reached over 5 million plays of this song, American Pie. Do you have any idea what
American Pie? Yes, it's had 300 million downloads, I think, or something like that. It's a big number.
Wow. Well, that's a good residual check, as I like to call it, that comes in every month.
Hear that last sentence again?
Yeah. That's always good, I guarantee it. But now you've got a lot of stuff coming up. You've been, like I said, of course, all this COVID stuff's going on, so a lot of people, is kind of slowed down on the tours. But you've got some stuff coming up. You've actually been kind of busy.
Well, I have a world tour book, God willing, next year, if we could ever get out of this funk we're in,
Right.
And I think part of it's going to happen. Maybe all of it will. These other projects I'm doing, and I'm doing a lot of things just from the house, videos and things on my channel, like, how I use the guitar and sing, and couple of instruction videos, little stuff on the folk banjo, which I'm probably the last person that knows how to do that the way it was done.
Right.
So I've always wanted to get a lot of those little tips out there for folks that might want to, to learn about it a little.
So now
I did that.
What is your YouTube channel, just so everybody's listening can go to it? You
just go to YouTube and type in Don Mclean YouTube channel, and you'll get it.
Right.
It's all me all day long.
Well, that's good. I mean, there's a lot of folks out there digging for new, to play the guitar and this, that, and other in different ways. And I think that's good that you're putting that up, and people can follow it and learn and listen. But now
there's going to be a lot of programming on that coming up, all sorts of things, because it's popping up from all these appearances I made all over the world. I've done 20, 25, 23 world tours, And in all those tours, I've done TV appearances and interviews and performed live and so on. And those are all in the can. And little by little, they pop up. And then I have these TV shows that I own, documentary movies that I own, stuff like that, you know?
Right.
And that's all going to be on there in the next few years.
Well, I thought it was pretty interesting that they actually sold the manuscript for the song for over $1 million. Is that right? Am I right about that?
Yes, you are correct about that. $1.2 million.
Golly. That's a pretty good chunk of change, man. Buy a lot of cigarettes with that. But
well, there's a lot of people out there with way too much money, as you know.
Right.
And I went to a modern art exhibit in New York, and there was a canvas by somebody who calls himself an artist, and it was painted black.
Right.
And the price was $1 million.
Wow.
And I said, I turned to whoever was with me. I said, if that isn't a sign that we are insane, I don't know what is.
You're exactly right. So nowadays, you know, what kind of music do you listen to now? Like when you're downloading music, what kind of a playlist do you have? I mean, what do you?
Well, I just go around on my phone. I don't really download stuff.
Right.
I will. I like harmony groups. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll tell you some of the harmony groups that I like in all different genres. I like the Beach Boys a lot.
Right.
I like the Sons of the Pioneers
Mm-hmm.
a lot. I like girl groups, you know, like the Ronettes. I like the McGuire sisters and some of the things they sang. I like all kinds of vocal things, vocal harmonies. I love the Swan Silvertones, the Golden Gate Gospel Quartet.
Right.
So I go in all sorts of different directions to hear harmonies singing. And I don't like barbershop music.
No, I'm with you on
One
that.
thing I hate. That square crew cut stuff. That ain't for me.
No, I'm with you.
I love swinging gospel stuff. That's why I loved singing with the Jordanaires, man. That was one of the thrills of my life, was to sing and make records with the Jordanaires, which I did. Crying, Since I Don't Have You, Castles in the Air.
Right.
Those all had the Jordanaires on them.
Well, they're unreal, the Jordanaires. They have been around forever, no doubt, and I'm just like you on that. I guarantee it. Now, you've got a Rock Legend cruise coming up on the February the 14th, I think it is.
Well, fingers crossed.
I don't know if I'd want to get out there on that ship or not.
I don't know if I can sing through a mask, but I'll try.
There you go. Are you doing all the social distancing, or are you just like me, kind of staying at the house?
No, I don't want to catch this. I have asthma, so I don't feel like I've never been in a hospital. I don't plan on starting now.
I don't blame you. Now, you're in California now, right?
Sometimes, yes. There's been a lot of smoke in the air from all these fires, and it's kicked up my asthma a little bit. But I also have home in Maine, which has very nice air there.
Yeah, it's beautiful there.
Yeah, it's good. And there's not too many people, although there are now people coming from New Jersey and New York,
Mm-hmm.
and they're running up to Maine, and they all want to move there. And real estate is as hot as you can get
Right.
In Maine right now. And people are actually coming up and making real estate visits, and they go and knock on people's doors and say, what can I give you to get out of your house? Can you imagine that?
Oh, I cannot. But, I mean, it's happening here. I live in a little town called Hiawassee, Georgia, which is in the Blue Ridge Mountains. It's beautiful here, and we've got a lot of people coming here, and it's drove the price up of the property because everybody's wanting to get away, get out of the big cities.
Well, now's the time to do it. I was getting away when I was 15, so I know all about it.
Right.
I've always lived in the woods. I've never lived near anybody.
Mm-hmm. Now, where were you raised at?
What's that?
Where did you grow up?
Well, I grew up in a fancy, pretty upper-class place called New Rochelle, and the place I grew up in was called Larchmont Woods.
Mm-hmm.
And in those days, we still had about 60 acres of woods. And all of us kids, we were all in the Boy Scouts and the Cub Scouts, and we'd all be on the weekends. We'd play baseball in the woods, and there was a little field in there, and it was surrounded by forest and some swamp. And so sometimes you'd hit a ball out there, and some big osprey would go flying at them,
Yeah.
you know? So you got in touch with nature
Mm-hmm.
rather than it being all buildings, you know?
Right.
And that had a profound effect on me. I always loved being in there and making a campfire and having some food and, you know, and maybe sleeping out. And I'd go in the pond and get pollywogs, you know, in a jar and bring them home and watch them hatch, you know.
Oh, yeah.
So all that stuff. And later on, I said, you know, everybody was moving to New York. I said, first of all, I mean, I love New York for dining and for shopping for about 3 days, and then I have got to get out of there. And so I said I couldn't possibly live in New York. I'm going up country. So I moved up to upstate New York and lived in a little gatehouse, and I loved it. And then winters were rugged, and then I had my own place there and spent 20 years there. And then too many people moved up.
Right.
And too many people, and so I moved up to Maine and lived there for another 30 years. And it's still good until now. We're getting this latest assault, you know, people wanting to move there. But that'll wear off, you know, when they can't get everything they want in the wintertime, and the roads are awful.
Yeah.
You know, they're going to have to get tired of it.
Well, come on down to Hiawassee, Georgia, man. There's plenty of room down here, and it's just like upstate New York, except the temperature is not near as bad. But anyway, well, I sure appreciate Do what now?
I'm for being in the country, wherever it may be. I've been all over this country. You know, I've done nothing but ramble all over the United States for 50 years, and I have seen so many beautiful little towns and great states, you know, that have gorgeous scenery. You know, I think I've had horses all my life since I got upstate. I started riding, and there was the Appalachian Trail was nearby, so
Right. It actually,
you know, I would ride. I became a good Western horseman, and I still keep 3 horses in Maine. And I would say that any place where you can keep a horse is a place where, you know, I'd like to be.
well, the Appalachian Trail actually ends here where I live at, so it ends here. This is where the other end of the Appalachian Trail's at. But anyway, listen, I appreciate your time. Tell everybody again about your YouTube channel. It's Don Mclean YouTube. Go to that. You got a lot of stuff going on, and then of course, you got the Facebook and all that. So, right.
Well, nice talking to you, and take it easy, and wait till this thing blows over, and we'll be talking again.
Hey, I'll be looking forward to it, man. I really appreciate it. Appreciate you.
Thank you very much. I do appreciate your remarks. Hi, this is Don McClain. You're listening to me on Lake 97.7 WJUL.
Folks, don't forget you can listen online anywhere in the world at WJULradio.com. That is WJULradio.com. Or you can listen live at Lake 97.7 WJUL. And don't forget, we're going to be uploading this to the YouTube channel and our Facebook page. So just go to the Morning Dish. You can listen to the show again and give us a like and give us a share. We appreciate it.